All right, good morning, campers. Here we are. I've got my 2016 Cayenne Turbo S Porsche, and I'm going to do the accessory drive belt. It's got 49,330 miles on it, and Porsche recommends this be replaced, the factory belt be replaced at 50. There's nothing wrong with my belt, and I mean, from the look of the original belt, I could probably get easily double the mileage that we've got on there. But this car is brand new to me, and I'm going through it, and the one thing I've noticed so far is there's not a whole lot of videos on how to do this. There's a ton for the previous generations. The 2008 seems to have a plethora of the do-it-yourself videos, especially overseas. There's a couple of guys, I think, in a garage somewhere, you know, in the former Eastern Bloc countries, whatever. They got these things everywhere, and they're taking them apart and all that. So I figured I'd throw in a new one because it is quite a bit different than what they've got. So we'll start off. We'll take a look at what we've got here. I remove all of the covers that normally come with the engine. I've also removed the under belly pan, aerofoils, debris, pans, whatever you want to call them, all the way the ones underneath the engine bay and the transmission. The vehicle runs approximately 15 degrees, 10 to 15 degrees cooler engine oil and engine coolant, obviously because there's so much more airflow around and underneath the engine. I'm not on the Autobahn. I'm here in Florida, so you know we occasionally, on a very rare occasion, will I even get anywhere up to near 100 miles an hour. However, on the Autobahn, those, especially the underbelly pans, are probably a lot more important for the aerodynamics. But I mean, come on, guys, this is an SUV. I got rid of all that stuff here. The engine, there's a lot more air moving around it, and the engine and the oil, more specifically, and the engine coolant run about 10 to 15 degrees cooler on average in traffic, especially out on the highway, that kind of a thing. So that's my reasoning behind it. You know, hey, it's your preference. I don't like the fact that once you remove all those things anyway, all the stuff that's collected in the years of ownership are still under there. When I bought this vehicle, everything was armor-alled. I mean, as you can see, some of the grease left over and all this from the dealership that I purchased it from, and granted, it looked beautiful. And then when I pulled all of the hiding covers, as I call them, away, there were tons of leaves and pine straw and everything of that nature that was in here. I've removed all that. I've steam cleaned the motor. Everything is absolutely beautiful now and nice and clean. So I've got no complaints there, and that's the way I do it. Let's see. Let's move on to the pieces we're needing. This Amazon, picked it up for 50 bucks. This is the Dayco poly rib belt. It's the 6071134, and as you may have seen in one of my previous videos, this I treated with the 303 polymer protectant, UV dip, whatever, did that kind of a thing, so we'll put that puppy on there. Overall, I think it'll be a good thing. I don't think it'll make it last forever, but hey, why not? Who's going to argue with that if it does work out? Flat tip screwdriver to take off the bellows clamps. Got just a pair of pliers here. I got two just because one straight, one angled. I think the angled is going to work better, especially for removing the plenum off of the throttle body. Of course, you need your Torx kit here. I got this one. Anyone will do. 30mm wrench for the belt tensioner to relieve the pressure on it, and a flashlight to get in there. So let's take a look at this thing. The major difference that I've seen between all of the videos that are online and what we've got going on here is going to be from here to the center. On the videos that are online, this entire piece is replaced all the way up to the air cleaners, which there's two of them. On this vehicle, however, this is where it stops. Everything is mounted. This is mounted via a bolt that it was somewhat hard to get to behind here, to the radiator support shroud, and then down to the intercooler discharge right here, which this one's not too bad. However, this side, if you look at it, the outlet to the radiator is right in the way of that. So maybe a coolant drain and flush would be in order if I wanted to remove that. However, I am thinking that the Porsche engineers built this setup this way for a reason, and here's my thought. So I'm going to remove this plate here that comes right off there. It's held in by two pressure grommets here, which mount up to the ball-y things there, and then a hook loop system there on the front. The design has not changed on this. You remove these two things by putting the torque screw in there and moving the dot towards where this shaft area is. Now, you have to be careful because the little tabs on the bottom, just like they said, will break off. I've looked at these and both of mine are still intact. Obviously, with the low mileage that I've got, probably has not been a reason for anybody to go in there, so they haven't. However, I have a feeling that those tabs are not nearly as important as everybody has, they talk about, oh, if you break them off and blah, oh my God, end of the world and all that kind of thing. From what I'm looking at, and it's not like I'm a naval engineer or anything, which actually I am. I'm lying. I'm just being an ass. So anyway, from what I just see here, now I haven't pulled it apart yet, but my guess is that the way this is designed, the tabs are only holding the shafts in place. The shaft diameter itself, as it fits down through here, is creating an interference fit with the throttle body, and that's what holds it onto it. So the only thing those little tabs are doing, because I mean they're incredibly flimsy, and which is why everybody breaks them off, all it's doing is holding it down. So the reality is if you've got this cover on here anyway, and you come out and check it every once in a while just to make sure, look at that, you can see right down to it that it's pressed all the way down there, you're not going to have any issues. And it would take an extreme amount of carelessness on an owner's part to not check it at least once, I don't know, who knows, every fifth tank fill or something like that to see if these were coming out. And honestly, again, with the cover on there, they're not going in anywhere. So just my thoughts on this whole, oh God, don't break the tabs thing, because guess what? They're plastic. This engine gets very hot, and all of that heat, especially when the fan kicks on from the radiator, blows up right all over it, and there you have it. So, I mean, these things are going to break. It's just, it's the nature of the beast. So you can replace them every time if you want. If not, like I said, I have a feeling that the engineers were way ahead of us on this, and as long as these two are both staying in here, that's going to hold this snug fit. So anyway, all right, I'm going to get off my soapbox on that now. As a look underneath here, this part right here, just like as in the other videos, there's at least one, maybe two pressure points on here that come together to get that off. I will show you once I get it removed, because since it's just me doing the video, unfortunately you're not going to get live action shots. I'm going to do a before and after kind of a thing. And then this comes off, moves to the side, and then this one, which is the outer one connecting to the intercooler discharge tube here, and this one, which is the intercooler discharge tube for that side, driver side, passenger side, respectively. I'm going to pull off this clamp, that clamp, and then pull the whole center housing piece off. And I should then have a fair access to the belt. At that point, I will take the 30 millimeter and put it against the tensioner release bolt, adjust bolt, grab bolt, whatever you want to call it. So that's 30 millimeter. You might be able to see it right down in there. And you move it clockwise, which is that way, towards the driver's side of the vehicle. And that will release the tension on the wheel, on the idler pulley that's on there, connected on there, the tensioner, whatever you want to call it. And the belt actually comes away. I've actually already put the shaft in, or excuse me, and there it is. I'm on, and move it that way, and guess what? This gives plenty for the discharge to the radiator. The coolant pipe for the radiator supply gives enough to where that moves out of the way, and you have the room. So it's a tight fit, I'm not going to lie. I've got a little bit of trepidation as far as routing the belt, because here, as you can see, the belt routing scheme, here's the tensioner right there. Everything goes up and around over. Everything comes from the driver's side of the vehicle. If you notice the way the routing is, the belt goes in, everything feeds over to the other side, which means this entire belt is fed down through here, down in this section here, and put all over the pulleys, and then the last short piece goes up over the water pump and over to the other side, which then goes over and across. Now, I'll take better videos, so I'm sorry I'm kind of rambling here. I'm just kind of getting ready to get going. I want to provide as much pre-info before I cut the video. Since YouTube no longer has its video editing software to put it all into one, I'm going to have to do a part 1, part 2, part 3, etc. Well, anyway, I'm sure you've seen some of my other videos on there. So anyway, that's where we're at. Major differences again is this area right here. I have a feeling they redesigned everything to keep everything in place. The videos that I saw before, it was almost like there was a direct connection here, and this piece came out as one. Maybe the intercoolers weren't a part of the earlier models, which maybe that's where the extra power is coming from, since mine's a 2016, and the earlier models probably didn't have those intercoolers, so that's what I'm guessing. But my thought is that you do not have to take these off. You can get to everything if you just remove that. So let's see what we got. Alrighty, thanks guys. See you in the next video.